So it actually blows my mind at how many people don't know that this was a thing. This is why we need critical race theory. Like, literally a perfect example. So poll taxes were fees associated with voting. They came out after the Civil War. They were part of Jim Crow laws. It was basically a tool used to disenfranchise African Americans post-war, and it was predominantly used in the South, of course. In the South, a lot of states implemented not only poll taxes, but also literacy tests. But I also think that we should kind of bring the literacy test back. I mean, for everyone, if you know what I mean. All jokes aside, they basically did this to undermine the 15th Amendment, which allowed African American men the opportunity to vote. Now, poll taxes were not a thing in all 50 states. Obviously, not all 50 states existed then, but it was predominantly, like I said, in the South. So think Alabama, South Carolina, Mississippi, places that still practiced extreme racial segregation. So in 1964, when the Civil Rights Act took place and they ratified the 24th Amendment, in 1964, in conjunction with the Civil Rights Act and the ratification of the 24th Amendment, they basically banned poll taxes on all federal elections. Not state, just federal. And for context, my dad was born in 1964. It wasn't until 1966 in which there was a Supreme Court case, Harper versus Virginia, that basically said we are not allowing poll taxes at all at the federal and the state level. They declared that poll taxes were unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment. People were paying upwards of $2 to be able to vote, and in 1960 and before that, $2 was a lot, considering that for $2 you could literally go see 20 movies. Back in the day when movies were only 10 cents. I think that as Americans, and again, going back to the whole literacy test, I think that as Americans, we need to fundamentally understand what rights have come and when they came and who they were extended to. I mean, women didn't even have the right to vote until the 1920s, and that was considered extremely progressive then. But it wasn't even until 1968, because of the Fair Housing Act, that women could actually buy homes on their own. 1968, you guys. And it wasn't until the Equal Opportunity Credit Act of 1974 that women could even have their own credit cards and bank accounts. My mom was born in 1972. Like, are you kidding? So yeah, anyways, that's poll tax. That's, U.S. rights. Get the fuck out and vote. You have no excuses if you are a registered voter. If you're an American citizen and you are registered to vote, you have no excuse not to go and vote. Remember your voter rights. You do have them. If you're at the polling station before it closes at 7 p.m., you still have the right to vote. Remember, in the state of Florida, you need 2 stamps to mail in your ballot this year. And if your signature does not match your driver's license, it's going to get rejected. They are doing everything in their power to disenfranchise people and their votes. They know that Democrats predominantly vote mail-in or drop-off. They don't stand in line, which is why I go to the polls and I vote in person and I slide my own paper in the machine because I want to make sure I see with my own eyes that my vote has been counted. And if you don't have the opportunity to go to the polls and you have to do the other 2 options, be sure to check that it has been received.